angazi lo ubezothini umfoka Mali uma ucula leli culo. Ngoba ubesikhumbuza njalo ukuthi lo Jesu wakho lo uhlala uthi ukuthatha la akubekela ukuphi ke manje. Manje athi kune problem inyana emruthi. Yeah. Why lelo culo lelo why engibuza kakhulu ukuthi ulithatha leli culo. Uma ngabuzanga lelo culo wayevela khulume nje ukuthi I think with the review shilo on Wednesday uthi wayeba nenkinga mawuzovele nje uthi kuye lezi trata zegolide kodwa uhamba kuma potholes. So kunento eyiningi ucommander, he was very unconventional, but also a highly principled man that I am about to talk of here. Program director, the chairperson of the African National Congress and the premier of the Gauteng province in absentia, represented here by the deputy chair, the SG of the province, our MEC for corporate governance, Baba Mahile, the leadership of the alliance, the military veterans, and the MKVAs were here. Abomakhelwane, abangani, and importantly, our faku, ubana bawo Mali, abethu mayiqhenya ngani yakhuluma ngokuthi ni qamela phezulu kwengwenya. Nihambe phezulu kwedwala kusala unyawo kubona noma ubani ukuthi kudlule nina. Ngiyanibingelela nonke i-leadership yonke African National Congress ekhona la. Akungifanele ukuma la. Mhlambe fana ngabe kume ubhuti Eric la noma uwara usoli ngoba ukuba icolleague ka commander is a very, very heavy task and a very daunting moment for me. Kodwa ngiyabonga ukuthi ama colleagues wami nama proteges wakhe, they have chosen that they bestow this honor on me to represent them on a day of such a somber and painful moment when we pay a tribute to this respected, gallant and visionary leader. But ngoba isikhathi singiyethu isikhathi siyaphela, ngibona ukuthi ngcono lento ngiqale ngereverse. Ngibonge kuqala first and foremost the family for having given South Africa such a gallant freedom fighter, an educationist, who was a visionary and a strategist. And I think laba bakhona la bazokhumbula ukuthi ayikho into abeyizonda njengabantu abebabiza ngo shoot then aim, or talk then think. He hated such kind of people. In our district in C3, when he was leading us at that level, he had to teach us that a strategist does not talk then think, or shoot then aim as a soldier. So, siyabonga nina bakwaMali for giving South Africa such a brave soldier for the liberation and freedom of his people. We like also to thank Usisibusi Luchuli, his partner, for caring for him. You did care even when things were difficult, Usisibusi, and when things were tough, but you were there for him. You stood by his side. Siyabonga ke Usisibusi for that. Comrade Thamsanqa Mali had 3 musketeers, the 3 boys that were always with him. Today they have grown tremendously so, because they were closer to the giant. Laba ke Wesley Jacobs, Frank Molia, Eugene Mabocha. These boys we might not say much about them, but they sacrificed so much to support uCommander. Siyazi uCommander ube nesifo esinzima kakhulu, it's unpredictable sokuwa. But these boys, they would, whatever time Commander needed help and support, they would be there. Baze bakhohlwe nemjolo. Abanye babo namhlanje sebeze bagcina beshadile ngoba bengafuni ukuthi bangabi nefuture. Kodwa bake bamisa nesikhathi somjolo, omunye wabuye ngitshela nje ukuthi hey, yakwakunzima usathi uyajola uze uthe sekufanele uhambe uyonceda uCommander. Ufale uyavalelisa entokazini ibona ukuthi awuyadlala wena. So, but the rewards have been greater for them, and they are proud to have supported and being closer to him. Ngibonge ke kakhulu futhi i-African National Congress ngoba lo mbutho bewuthanda uCommander. Comrade Deputy Chairperson, my leader, my MEC in the province, I think Babul Sufi, I must say in no uncertain words, Comrade Thami, ngimangcela ukuzombona la just before aye esibhedlela ngitsho ukuthi sisazobuya no ngangihamba no Eugene Maboja. Uye wakhala kakhulu kimi nge state of the organization, and I'm happy that when he passed away, he had not seen the decline. He would have been devastated. He loved this Mbuto with all his life. He was prepared to lay his life for it, for the freedom of our people. So the last time Gila kubuhlungu kakhulu mangicabanga izinto angitshela zona ngokukhathazeka ngesimo sombutho. Ngiyathemba ke i-leadership ikhona la MEC bobabili bayazi what he stood for, even when he was dealing with the issues of disciplinary hearings. You could see the pain in his eyes about the state of the organization. Colleagues, sifuna ukuthi ke thina sibonge ukuthi ubaba wakho umbeke kahle impela la ubekuthanda wena, noma uzimhlawo uzelwe engifonela esitshela you've never seen Thami's softer side like he was when he was glowing about the fact that you were born. To me, because I have a son also, he would then say that yabona ke manje kabazela leli gama lethu ngeke liphinde liphele. So your father loved you. He might not have bequeathed on you a lot of treasures, but he gave you love. He gave you powerful memories. And I want you to remain firm in carrying his name, and it is befitting that you've named your son after him. So the generation after you is guaranteed. Now, who was Thami Mali then to us as colleagues? I will try to be as brief as I can, but there are things that have to be said. As colleagues and as proteges, and I'm saying as proteges because I stand here representing our colleagues, and I think I'm a symbol of people he nurtured. And maybe that's why the colleagues chose me. So when I speak, what I'm saying here is not about me, it's about the collective. Comrade Thami, to us, was a fearless and a brave leader. He was an unparalleled strategist who sometimes lived far beyond his times. I will demonstrate why I say this. And he was a mentor and a disciplinarian of note. Today, as I'm standing here, he chose me at a time when it was not possible to just take a brave decision and take a principal from a primary school to be deputy director. This he did against all odds. There were people that were very close to him. And yet when it came to deciding who must support him, he decided to go for me, and I don't know what he saw in me. But at the end of the day, despite those who tend to hate him at the time because he did not choose them, he was able to stand behind me and support me. And that's what he does for everyone that he cares for. He was uncompromising when it comes to the plight of an African child, and the only most powerful tool to change their conditions and that of the African people in general, according to Comrade Busobenyoka Mali, he wanted to avoid intergenerational poverty, inequality, and continued subjugation of our people. And he said to us, and I'm happy that most of my colleagues from the former district are here, he said quality education was a key weapon. That is why there was no love lost between him and SATU, an organization that groomed me to be able to understand the sphere of education. One of his peers, Staff Sithole, remembered him fondly as we spoke. This is what she had to say about Comrade Thamsanqa Mali, was that during the development of the new curriculum, Mr. Mali provided a very clear direction and was not afraid to make decisions. He championed, of course, the plight of the African child. He believed that the African child must be at the center of a curriculum development, and he, in that committee, constantly said, we must guard against Western concepts being the center of our curriculum, instead of learning from the African states such as Zimbabwe on human capital development, close quote. So he instilled this to all of us, and having innovative ideas that were very pioneering and novel strategies to execute them. Among these, in the education system, Comrade Thamsanqa Mali decided that there will be a program we called a SIP program. There was a program that was a senior secondary improvement plan program. He wanted to make sure that schools were turned around because there was a tendency of children loitering during school hours. There was less contact time. But one of the most pioneering ideas that he threw me at the deep end with Abobra Eric and Abosis Pumi Tobatla, who are here, was the common exams issue. And I think together with Abosis Tidimalo, I was new. I had to go to Maurice Isaacson to try and persuade comrades who were from SATU, who were definitely saying they will not write common exams. And I remember when I had to speak, I had to remind them, comrades, we are not asking you to write common exams. We are saying children must write common exams. And at that time, comrades thought, why are you now changing? You were with us. Now you are saying we must write common exams. And at Libone, they even tore apart some of the exam papers. Comrade Mali was brave. He went there directly and convened a meeting. And he told everyone, common exams were non-negotiable. They were about the African child and improving their conditions. He came with community colleges, the EAZ programs. All these programs were game changers in the education sector, but they were far ahead of the times, particularly among his pioneers. I'm saying this because at some point he was isolated in driving these programs, and he had to face a lot of marches where he went outside when we were there in his offices, when there was a march and he stood out there and they threw tomatoes against him, but he stood unwavering and said the African child comes first. So he was not fighting SATU as others tried to create the impression. His common goal was that SATU, which I was party to, and I was challenging him at some point because I was still on the other side, was that we differed not in view of the fact that the right to toy and the right to challenge the education system was wrong and the right to march was incorrect. But he was doing that, he said, you can march but only after school. I don't have a problem. And on the other side, we as SADU were saying, if we march after school, the employer will not feel the pain. So there were those two, it was just a principle that created the differences. So I want to say that Comrade Thamsanqa Mali was a rock of the Gauteng Department of Education. From his time as a district director for C3, this was the biggest district at the time. It included inner schools, which he shut down if they were not registered. He was not afraid to challenge those directors of those schools. But he was also a glue that kept us all together. As you can see, the numbers who are here are the people, Labosis NG, those are the people who worked with him. So I want to just say, as I quote, Thamsanqa Mali lived for education of the African child, and this is what Amilcar Cabral had to say. Always bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas, for the things in anyone's head. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better and in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children. Close quote. And the last quote I just want to share with you is what Pope Francis said. Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. Comrade Thamsanqa Mali was exactly that kind of a person. Thank you, Ulalengo Xolo, Commander, Commissar, Oba, Gert Busobenyoka, Fagomhle. Aluda, continue. Thanks.
Arata khotso makomanesi, arata khotso makomanesi, 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 alabanchumo makomanesi, alabanchumo makomanesi. Alabanesi.
Thank you, Chaplain. A colleague that was in Kize. I'm going to introduce her. You didn't disappoint. You did exactly what I was warning you not to do. Hakere wa qeta ka speech sa ha o continue the introduction le hona o tlo bua but ke a leboha ntate o bile mantse hantle ke le ka tshokare ke yona ntwe e lo reng hangata our colleagues from the education fraternity MEC how about for platform tamno o be sure o be ready o be le nako. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Willington, long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Obadi Lunsi, long live. Long live the fighting spirit of Comrade Richard Panimulukwan, long live. Long live the fighting spirit of Comrade David Speechmuse, long live. Colleagues, I'm talking about Obabu Willington because he's one of the comrades that we don't normally talk about. Young people, they don't know about these comrades. Comrades, they don't know much about Comrade Panimulukwan, Comrade Obadi. Many comrades who sacrifice. In the meantime, I talk about my colleague, Comrade Mzwake. I'm Comrade Mzwake. Kotlahaye Oto Tlamona Ato Emisa de Emi Otori Comrade Mzwake. ungashaya iCD yonke na. Uyabona ngiyazi ngi-artist thina masithole platform nathi mchana. Yeah. But I was saying Comrade Thamsanqa how katabuwa Comrade Leboha Maile ugonzo itukisa mo for hotla address on behalf of the People's Vanguard Movement, the African National Congress. Comrade Thamsanqa, lamneki adjust him.
Nome De Guerra. Until charter is implemented, until you respect those who met in 1955, before some of us were born, until you respect their resolutions at Clip Town in 1955, nothing will come right. Nothing will come right until we embrace the Freedom Charter. Comrade Chair, thank you very much. Nesizulu mangibonge lemswaneni kumndeni wakwaMali. Oliver Tambo wayithanda izobuciko. Ukhulume nge-arts comrade. Comrade Tambo make sure ukuthi ukhuluma nabo Jonas Gwangwa. Kwenziwa amandla. So that uComrade OR Tambo mayihamba umhlaba wonke ekhuluma ngokucidezela kwethu eMzansi. Bezwe kangcono ukuthi siphila kanjani. Ngicina lapho. At the funeral of Moses Kotane, Comrade Yusuf Dadu, what here lies a man who could not be corrupted. Same as Frederick Engels, at the funeral of Karl Marx said, here lies a man who could not be corrupted. In winter, trees lose their leaves and not their roots. The spear has fallen. Commanders, comrades, ex-combatants, let me dedicate my poetic praise to Comrade Thamsanqa Mali, the truth teller that attracted enemies of peace and truth. I dedicate this poem to a fearless warrior of revolution, a decorated servant of the people, Comrade Mali, a strong-willed man with a lion's attitude. He shook foundations of plunder, the embodiment of genuine patriotism. Let me dedicate my poetic praise to the young lion that rendered South Africa ungovernable and rendered apartheid unworkable. The Botha Malan regime had no choice but to retaliate to the young lions. The rest is minority regime unleashed state-sponsored violence, atrocities, brutalities, assassinations, death squads, human slaughter, parcel bombs. Comrades disappeared, some were butchered with impunity. Apartheid terror occupied the center stage. Behold, 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 Comrade Commissar Mali fearlessly stood, fearlessly fought and soldiered on. Detained, tortured, harassed, he prevailed. A victim became a victor. A trial-tested leader, a cadre who defied a destiny defined by adversity. Comrade Mali preferred combat than servitude. Son of the soil, whose struggle credentials speak for themselves. Militancy is not arrogance. Militancy is not arrogance. If shovels could speak, they would say they are tired of digging graves. If shovels could speak, they would say they are tired of witnessing coffins and casket being lowered. Behold, a disciplined cadre who remained loyal to the very end of the course. Leaders are not born, yes, born, persecuted, produced by prosecution. Apartheid tyranny produced a warrior with nerves of steel. Behold, Mali evolution, from Duduza to Soweto, from student activism to COSAS, from SASCO to SAICO, from SASCO to NUSA, from UDF to ANC, from Umkhonto Wesizwe, the glorious army of Oliver Tambo, the glorious army from Umkhonto Wesizwe. I speak of Comrade Thamsanqa Mali. a victim became a victor. A victim became a victor. Comrade's dedication defied all odds. His resilience derailed apartheid agenda. He rose beyond the dictates of nature. He defied a destiny prescribed by destiny, the gallant son of the soil that could not sit back and became a spectator in the liberation of struggle, a character worth emulating. Indeed, best characters are formed in stormy winds. The death of Comrade Thamsanqa Mali caught us off guard. We are deeply hurt and wounded, a nation deprived, a nation distraught, a nation in pain. Yamis Valentiam. A father is no more. A husband is no more. Educationist is no more. The graves of our combatants shall forever serve as a reminder of where we come from. Death strikes when least expected. The return to our place of origin is preordained. Once a soldier, always a soldier. Once a fighter, always a fighter. Once a resilient combatant, always a resilient combatant. May his soul rest in eternal peace. And down and cease with the death of somebody who died, having not told us the truth. Sins unconfessed, mfundis. Sins unconfessed are sins of forgiven. A curtain raiser is gone. You can escape earthly judgment, FUWT clerk, but you cannot escape God's judgment. There is no parole in hell. Long live the spirit of Comrade Thamsanqa Mali. Long live.
Thanks a lot, Comrade Muzwake. They used to call him Langman. Comrade Ambassador, we say because comrades, without any waste of time, because after the official program and the bondate battle match Bapa Kiden Kamuna Kamrao Chef A White SUV registration FV CVGP J521 BMW HJ64 Kitabeki Bitele Akajo. Comrade Thamsanqa said something very important. He spoke about Comrade Moses Kotane and what Comrade Yusuf Dadou said. Talks about comrades who are not corruptible. Said something very important, Comrade Panyas. Militance is not arrogance. I spoke about it. To say, my comrades, ban an element of good. Abanyaba to Ghana this boys, but no, you are militants. Militants are here to say, yeah. My colleagues, ANC is a very humble organization. And we must admit, along the way, we have developed Amanyama comrades that are bigger than the organization. They are so arrogant to the core. But I'm glad that you have touched on the UDF, Comrade Muzwake, you touched on the COSAS. And as the value have produced a number of COSAS comrades, and they were honored during our memorial service. We had Comrade Lulu Johnson, who was part of our memorial service. And we were honored, we had Comrade Buddha Tsoteti, who was one of our own from local, who was the National Secretary of COSAS. We are honored, and even he's here even today. Those are the young lions that we produced, the generations of COSAS. We are going to call the commander. You know, we have been saying, comrades spoke about Comrade Thami, the academic life, the teacher, the visionary, the strategist. Now the battle Comrade Mali, the commander. Servalva Ulubuntatebana. Comrade Impo. Pataka Comrade Impo, why Nelly Bosa in Yova Vansadi Kulu. Batla Comrade Impo, Batla Buantfin. Kitobita Comrade Opa De Guerra. Bamsabaga Opa De Guerra. But Malum Konto, re mtsiba ka Comrade Mpho. Hey Nyamasan, hey Nyamasan, hlale hlatheni, hlale hlatheni, hlale hlatheni, hlale hlatheni. Hey Nyamasan, hey Nyamasan, hey Nyamasan. Amandla, long live umkhonto wesizwe, long live. Comrade Ambassador, Comrade.
Yes, Barile. Baraba bona Comrade De Guerra. Ebe ba kenya nalete. Ha ke ntse ke dutse mona ntse ke maketse ke re e tla fitla leng nalete. A kae matla. A Comrade ya feletse kae. I think matla di Comrade ya feletse ko di kgetong. Ya feletse di kgetong. Jwale ke re after a fela matla. We should know exactly that we are still standing, the African National Congress. So before I could deliberate in just a speech, to just pay testimony and tribute to my friend, Comrade, Commissar, Commander Busobenyoka, before I start, let me first observe protocol as it is standing. Comrade Panyaza, the Deputy Provincial Chairperson of the African National Congress, and we have Teboho that is Maile, in the Executive Committee of the ANC of the province. And when I was sitting somewhere there, I saw Comrade Caesar Njikelani as he was coming through. So when I looked at Comrade Caesar Njikelani, I was reminded of history. He used to be a Secretary General of SAU. Comrade Caesar, bakubonile kanje bra Caesar. So Comrade Caesar is also here because what reminds me, when I saw him, I remembered Comrade Thamsanqa Mali. I remembered the time we participated in the struggle of trade unions. I remember when we participated in the mass democratic movement. I remember when we participated in the struggle of the youth and the student movement. So the important thing is that those who started there, they are still standing. And we want to encourage those who started yesterday to continue standing because of the inspiration they get from our lives. The important thing is that the comrades tell no lies, they claim no easy victories, and every time we say that, we remember Amiga Cabral. So where I'm standing now, I'm supposed to be talking about the Comrade Busobenyoka and talk nothing else but the truth. Nothing else but the truth. And that nothing else but the truth may reveal a lot about Comrade Thami and myself and our participation in the revolution. I'm not going to raise trivial issues. I'm just going to say, when I met the Thami just around the Eastern in Duduza, it was early in 1976.
We just met small young guys who didn't know whether we are charterists or black consciousness or Pan-Africanists. We were simply prepared to fight for the struggle which will contribute in the liberation of our people. So the key point is that we're interested in the people and their freedom. Nothing more, nothing less. So that was a point of principle. So Commander Mali used to be a man of principle. Munari used to believe in principle. I still believe in principle. Mzwaki Mbule, before I became a poet, he used to run around with me. We see, when we say stay away from Mzwaki, we used to carry shambokes. And we shamboked those who were refusing to stay away. To an extent that one day, my own mother, she was working in a factory. So I went to my home and said, Mama, please don't go to work. Then my mother said, no, don't worry, my son, I'm not going to go. So I was sleeping that side, and she woke up around 4 in the morning. And from there, she walked out, sneaked out, tiptoed, and she left. Only to find that at that time I was very vigilant. Very vigilant. I was under 20. So I woke up and followed her. You see, when she went out, all the workers around my area, they all went out. But I left them. When they were towards a pass, and I took the shambok. I had to say, let me be exemplary. Let me start with my own mother. And she, I'm telling you, so that is what happened. Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, this is what happened. So I'm just saying, if you would escape me in the township there, then you'll get Mzwaki there at the railways, at the station. You will be having his shambok. And that will help to sustain the revolution. So when we talked about June 76, all the commemorations which happened in Regina Mundi, they happened where there was full discipline there. And all of us were not having this thing. Mzwaki, whenever I had this thing, Mali, they were in Tesha. We were very slim and committed, black and proud. And that hairstyle I used to have, I remember it vividly. It was like an afro hair, Rastafarian like. It was a symbol of discipline, preparedness to die for my country. So, Comrade Thami, when later I became a teacher at Boris Isaacson, he was a teacher at Anchor. So, I don't know how did it happen that I became a teacher. Can you guess, Comrade Banyaza, what happened? The underground came to me and said, Chief, you want to be a lawyer? It's unfortunate, you can't be a lawyer. It's unfortunate. You have to go to teach, be a private teacher, with an objective of recruiting and strengthening the student movement. The same order which came, Thami was somewhere, but he was in the college. He also got the same instruction, and we worked. I think Comrade Mzwaki was still studying. So that's how we met. We had groupings, we introduced poetry and what. So when I was there, I can say my memory is very clear and vivid of the tasks Then later we expanded our role into the youth movement, and so what I'm saying is that when the chair was explaining, when we organized the Transvaal Stay Away, it started in the Vaal on the 3rd of September. So we had to follow and agitate the masses to come up with a Transvaal Stay Away on the 5th and the 6th. Historically, the day of the 5th and the 6th is the day of the hanging of Mini, Kainga, and Mhlaba. So we organized the Transvaal Stay Away in collaboration with the workers, with the trade unions, before COSATU was born. So we were just teachers, but the next Transvaal Stay Away was organized by COSAS. And COSAS in a meeting identified Comrade Mali and Comrade De Guerra to lead it. So Comrade Thami was a convener, and I was the secretary of the Transvaal Stay Away Committee. So I'm just saying there was this coordination. Then after the complete success of the Transvaal Stay Away, it affected the country as a whole. But now what happened is that before I could finish, it was on a Friday, to mobilize and distribute pamphlets, then I was arrested in Benoni. At a place called Actonville, where we used to produce pamphlets. So I went there, having bought a car. We bought a car and then I drove it without a license. You know why I drove the car without a license? Because I belong to the government in waiting. You remember that when we were not yet in power, we used to call ourselves a government, a people's government in waiting. So I just got money and I went to buy a car. They gave me the keys, registered me without a license. I reversed it, then forward. Then I went. You get my point? So that was a display of, I don't say brilliance, determination and dedication to the cause. So you had to do it. Because I had to make sure that I must go to get pamphlets and everything. So I went to get pamphlets first at Actonville. Then from there I went to that place, your place, Mzwake. Yeah, where they were dealing silk screening, the SCP. So they put those, so we took them, and I took two comrades, and the two comrades, you know, they were not sure if they'll go with me because they know me, I'm wanted. Then I went with them. After we came from the STP to Actonville, we got to the pamphlets and we were going to the theft loop. But when we came out, then we got arrested. So we got arrested and the two comrades got arrested. We were very innocent, but they were comrades. So at that time, you can't say I'm innocent because they accused me. Comrades, we were just innocent, we didn't know. You are in the struggle, so you must suffer the consequences of what we do. So we are arrested now. But when you arrive there, play ignorant. It's true, you don't know. I'm the only guy who knows. So we were there arrested, and after that, the stay away took place on the 5th and the 6th, and later, after 2-3 weeks, Thamsanqa Mali was arrested because he was now the big culprit because he was the convener. So he got arrested and all the other comrades, they got arrested. So I was in Benoni police station. Then they transferred me to John Foster Square. Then there were, people in the detention, they were all there. So the commander's cell was number 1, because he was the convener. Then my cell was reserved for me, number 2. Then number 3, it was Themba Nontlantlan. Number 4, it was Peter Mokoba of Kosas. Number 5, it was of Moses Maekiso. So I'm simply saying now we are, I don't know how they got arrested, what they said, but we meet in George Foster Square, and the commander, somebody said he was stubborn. He was not stubborn, he was committed. Yeah, if you say he was stubborn, he loved the revolution, he was militant, he was radical. So radicalism and militancy was never a crime. Comrade Thamsanqa. So we sat there until we appeared in court, and the workers were there. Is it the High Court, Magistrate Court, Westgate? They went there, the workers were there, released our leaders. Then we went there and they bailed, and then we got a bail. Then they were released on about 10,000 rands bail each. We were 5. So now I'm saying the commander, we said, no, commander, don't worry. When we get released, we're going to go, but we were restricted of the magistrate area of Johannesburg. It's a district there. So then we were there, and from there. So from the stay away, because we were arrested, charged with high treason. Then they came up with a charge called economic sabotage. So they were only guys who got into high treason and economic sabotage. But the mistake they made was to give us a bail. And that was the end. When we told the police, Captain Van Veek, we see, Captain, you just, because you are not educated, if we get a bail, see me now, see me no more. Yeah, then that was what really happened, and the rest is history. Then we left. So we joined the Mkhonto. Then the leadership of Mkhonto, Chris Ali, said to us, guys, you are high profile, you are leaders, you don't have to go to the camps. Then we said, we didn't come here to romance the revolution. Some of the good terms I got it from Comrade Thamsanqa, Comrade De Guerra, Lama Comrade Datin. But one must go to school to romance the revolution. I think they are meant. And my comrade, I support you in total. Yeah, I support you in total. We are not here to romance the revolution. We want to carry an AK-47, and we went to the camps, and we joined and swelled the ranks of Mkhonto. So if I had 50 more hours, I was going to talk for 50 hours. But because it's a funeral, the time is limited, we only have a few minutes. That is all I want to say. But the Mali family, they know that I did not lose a distant relative. I've lost a comrade, a brother, a confidante, a person who I wanted to raise anything with, I would call him. And he used to do the same, wanted to raise anything, he would call me. So it's just unfortunate that I am in Angola and I'm working, and then the children called me to say Comrade Thamsanqa is very sick. He's been in the hospital for 4 weeks. Then I asked them, which hospital? They said, it's in Copado. I said, that guy is a commander, the commissar is supposed to be in 1 meal. You see? Then I called the Comrade Thamsanqa to say, I called Comrade Thamsanqa to say, Comrade Thamsanqa, that comrade must be fetched. But I think it was late. And somebody was telling me now that in principle, the commander was not going to accept to go to one meal. You understand that one, Comrade Thamsanqa? You understand it? Yeah, in principle, because what Mzwaki is saying, a distinction about us who are changing the revolution and those who were part. So they say there's no parole in hell. Nah. For them, there's no parole, but for Thami Mali, it's not even, it doesn't have to go through parole. It's going to go straight to embrace Comrade Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Chris Hani. It's going straight there. You get my point? I'm not sure whether it will be in hell or in heaven, but I know that those who used to be revolutionaries and they are liberators, I'll find them somewhere united together, worried about the ANC now, and worried about the future of the people of South Africa. So I just want to say, comrades, family, my children, you know that you are my children. Chana, everybody, partners, we are just affected. I know that I'm no longer going because myself and Comrade Mali are neighbors. If he would call me and say I'm coming, or I will call him to say I'm coming. So it's just around the corner. So I'm saying the family is still very close. Between his family and my family, we are very close. Our children are more or less the same age. So they have to make sure that they continue with the culture of their fathers. If I'm in Angola doing national duty, I expect them to continue. But to my organization, the ANC, Comrade Thamsanqa, please, I know that he used to, from time to time, talk about you. And I know about your relationship between yourself and himself. I know the culture of you visiting the schools. You actually got it from Comrade Thami. That you step up the bar. So don't drop the bar. Continue working in, just to make sure that, when we say the spear has fallen, somebody must pick it up. The spear, you have to pick it up. And all of us must pick it up. All of us must correct the shenanigans. Comrade Mzwaki was saying, ukuthi amasela laba abafika izolo laba bayenza ukuthi ANC ibe embarrassed, because on many occasions I was told that this criminal organization, the ANC, ubani usithuka kanjalo Herman Bashaba ne thuka thina la get hit seriously because we can't generalize. An organization which liberated the people of South Africa together with the people of South Africa cannot be an organization of thieves. It's unfair. Individuals do get involved in corruption and fraud, but the ANC cannot make a resolution on corruption, isn't it? Unless I don't know, Comrade Thamsanqa, maybe in your last meeting you made a resolution on corruption, because some of these resolutions are new. So I'm just saying thank you very much. Amandla! Viva ANC, viva! Viva South African Communist Party, viva! Viva the undying spirit of Comrade Thamsanqa Mali, viva! Matla! Matimba!
Thank you, Comrade Dimpo. Colleagues, we are running behind schedule. And it will try about fast. Comrades, You see, Comrade Panyas, comrades are putting more pressure on you for a simple reason that your conduct, you know, when you arrived at education fraternity, there was this in your body, you are dropping the standards, how to feel. And we disappointed. Had maintained a really Saudi, but we had those elements that disappointed. One of the things that Comrade spoke about, Comrade, thank you, Comrade Ambassador. You know, house na osatsiko laboratory ya di politics a ANC elenke causes oba problem are abodi mumane because wa re qaka ke akaba ba militant ba hanto bana na mathata tsileng bana wa tswa laboratory. So Comrade, I think we thank you, the Comrade Mali, for the role that they played. You sharpen the politics. Tsaro na mara hartlo shaniksi Comrade opakaro wa shapile mama ka phafa. Comrades, one of the challenges that we are talking about, Comrade Mali, preservation of our history. These stories, we cannot only hear them at the funerals. We are building libraries, we are building, there is no content. We are building museums, there is no content. These are the stories that need to be told. There's a young lady sitting behind you, Comrade Banyaza. Her name is Sophie. She's wearing a yellow jacket. She's one of the Umkhonto Wesizwe veterans. She joined Umkhonto at the age of 14. She's sitting there. Not only her, we have Comrade Thamsanqa, who is from the valley here. He was entrusted with the responsibility of looking after Comrade Matiba and Comrade Thabo. He's over there, Comrade Thamsanqa. These are the stories that he has never shared with us what happened. Comrade Sophie, those books we have never read, that Comrade Mpo. Challenger Nakori, we can say all these stories. Many young people here, it's the first time hearing these stories. Harso bigabun date, harso bigamat amatola rate, harso bigamat Khabroni massacre, harso bigabu Lesotho massacre. There are many martyrs that failed. So, comrades, we are saying to you, what will make us be happy, Comrade Maiden, now that we are leading a local government? We say we have comrades that are dying. We speak so nice about them in the funerals. Day in and day out, comrades, we are unveiling new schools, we are building whatever, but they are not named after our comrades. We call this in Ndabo Mkelele, we call this in Ndabo Ma Sohopisiabenya. You know, I think we should start celebrating our achievement. This movement has done a lot. Potholes. We are fortunate, some of us, we have traveled the world, we have traveled Africa. You can go to Namibia. I was there not very long. Not even a single RDP. You can go to Zimbabwe, they were liberated in 1980. Till now we are fighting because we are having it good. Umuntu alotensing iPRDP but was panga electricity. Unin similar vote. Nobody defeated ANC. When you sit down, Comrade Deputy Chair, and analyzer isn't the don't analyze what ANC lose the ganja. I want to, but you know, nobody defeated us like OR said. We defeated ourselves. Comrade Mali and Comrade Mpo, they were known, but let's not talk about Christian something. Comrade Mali took it upon himself. He wrote a book about Christian. The sun that set before dawn, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Without any waste of time, comrades, I would like to take this opportunity to call one of our, I must be very careful, I will be fired. He's a young lion, because I'm a generation as Mvawam, about Buddha now. Comrade Mali, you will be speaking on behalf of the movement. Comrade, I would like to take this opportunity to call Comrade Lebohang Mailen as one of the pride young person who has served us We've been in the legislature for many years. You check his years, you look at the amount of responsibility that we have entrusted in him. He never disappointed. But Comrade Mali, Nana, you'll do what the Mali has been doing.
Because like in a cold. Mandla, Mandla, viva ANC, viva, viva SACP, viva, viva COSATU, viva, viva MKVA, viva, viva Women's League, viva, viva Youth League, viva, Malibongwe. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Thamsanqa Mali, long live. Thank you very much. I was just explaining to the program director that because Comrade Deputy Chair, Genalidi code, I open gas of said CD code. So Hagi Feza, he must pray here. But also, Comrade De Guerra, the program director is taking a risk because I've never been in MKVA and I'm not you. So calling me to speak here without a speech, it's a big risk. Because I'll be all over and start with history and say all sorts of things. Unlike you, because you were friends with Comrade Thami. And I'll come to that point, but I also want to say, you know, Kabazela, what you were saying about the song, Yaga Jeswang, Tatang, Begala, and all that. 3 months ago, Commander was speaking at the funeral of my brother, who was in MK as well. So he says, Magaceta, you know, Commander, Ukulumaganjan, sometimes Amanyamaka Magawa. I think his mind was faster than, you know. So he says, when I want to go, no, he says to Mfundis, when I'm Mfundis, I'm Bujelo Tiko Wago, Guti, Atawandaba useless, Atawandaba useful. So that was Commander Mali for you. And many people who did not know him, because Begabizwa, Busobenyoka, because Begabi's our commander and because he was a disciplinarian, he was decisive, his work ethic was at another level. I know this because the person who gave me my first job, by the way, my first job, where I earned a salary, and I had just left COSAS, Comrade De Guerra, as the president of COSAS. So Comrade Mashadile organized me a bazaar with some company, I won't name. I see there's RT Forces Buddha. I don't want to be accused. But that company was going to pay, I was going to go to UNISA, study part-time and all that. And Commander Mali said, no. Ngiyakufuna la ngifuna uzosebenza nala bafana uzongisolvela kunemidlwembe la ngifuna uzosolva la bafana bekhosas la ba infiltrate la bafana ngifuna ubahabilise la and he didn't just recruit me. Recruited, there's a lot of us. Frank had just come before me, but he had also went around in the system where he identified Abo Kabazela, he identified Abo Mpigeleli, he identified Abo Joe Chilwani. I think he was speaking the other day here. Abo Vusi, and there was a lot of us. We're a battalion. And I remember every day, Comrade Deputy Chair, because I was stationed in D9. It was in Johannesburg East. It was in Braamfontein. So we will walk to 111 for lunch, and kuthengwe iskopo, kuthengwe ipapa, and then we all knew ukuthi ulwimi lidliwa icommand. So he will say, hey, mfana kandlela wenzani ngathi afuna ukuphathwa wena yazi language into kacommand phela le. So we can't have language because into ka command. But you know, he was very humble, very approachable. I mean, I can go on about the jokes he used to tell about everything. Everything. I mean, we will go into a shop and you will ask how much is a pair of cigarettes. They say maybe it's 12 rand, 15 rand. They'll just say, hey, imali encinci kanje lizovala le venkile man. He will tell you stories in the camps. Ukuthi yazi wazi umuntu uyasihlolela lapha sisemankampini uyafika sithi man awusiculela ingoma yalapha ekhaya sizokuthi nibabe kanjani lapha athi ana ngumuntu athi awusenzeni na sathi hawu command usho ukuthi lamabhonus awasukela wena wazi ukuthi awazi wenzeni but makaswete le muntu command makaswete uyasihlolela lo muntu. So there's so many stories. We used to sit the whole night with the late Commander Zakes. There's a program, Kabazela, you might have just left for Home Affairs, I think. But I think you're still there because I think it was during Comrade Nash. That was started called Social Plan. That program, Comrade De Guerra. And by the way, I didn't acknowledge leadership because there's a lot of leaders. What I would have said is that leadership of our movement from different levels and different structures. So you are all acknowledged. So I would have said that because in our lexicon, there is nothing called all protocol observed. So I'm reminded now because I'm making this point, Comrade De Guerra, about social plan. It is about teaching young people, learners, about the values of our constitution, about the history, about politics and everything. And we'll get teachers, learners will go away, we used to go to Aventura, we used to go to Paris. We'll stay there for weeks and all that. And that will be the time we will have to sit with Commander Mali and Zakes at the time. And they'll take us through all the stories in the camps, what happened, including those bebaze namachero abo lapha abakutshela ukuthi no kulalwa ngapha abafazi amadoda ngapha and all that. You all know Comrade Commander because we were not there. But he would have told as well, most importantly, the importance of a soldier that is ideological, that is politically capacitated. Because a soldier who is not political and who is not ideologically capacitated is dangerous. You can't give that soldier a gun. And he would explain to us why it's important that we must arm ourselves with the political and ideological theory. He has contributed so much in grooming a lot of us. And that's why, to me, he's a mentor, because he introduced me to work environment. He taught me how to do work. But most importantly, he was not corrupt. Because he's the one who introduced me in government, he never introduced me to corruption. Not even a single day did he say, hey, mfanam, and all that. Every day, we will make sure that the little that we have, we will share. So Zauteng is Kopo, sidle papa, we will do all this. Namhlanje kuzathenga ngikhohla uTux. So there was a lot of us. So I will describe him as what Che Guevara called a revolutionary who's guided by great feelings of love for his people. And that's why sometimes he used to joke when he gets irritated by people and say, hey, wena, uyadelela man. Ngasingathi silwela inkululeko besingathi ukuthi silwela ukukhulula abantu abafana nawe. You know, but it wasn't just. Then that's how he was. He never held a grudge. He was a good man. He embraced everyone, even the people he disagreed with. He embraced them. And we will remember his ideas about a whole range of things, like I've said. Those who have had a privilege of being close to him. And that's why we will stand here with clear conscience. Clear conscience. I know his brother was saying, some of you, well, I never frequented here because he was never my friend. He was my brother's friend. But I know I spoke to him regularly. I know what he needed. And he knew what is it that we, his boys, can do for him. We, his boys, whatever he needed. But what I like about him, he has never, not even a single day, he has ever reminded us that I did this for you, that for you, and you are not doing this and that for me. That's the person I know who is here. In fact, he will even feel embarrassed. Sometimes some people will come and say, no, I was at Commander's place, things are not looking good and all that. I say, why is Commander not calling? Command. That's how he was. Because he believed that no one owed him anything. He believed that the ANC did not owe him anything. But he believed that he was in the struggle to liberate our people, to make his contribution. And that's why I said, I've never met Commander Sir. The first question I asked Pigelin is, who is Commander San and what does he do? Because if there's anything that I feel obliged to can do, is the son to Commander and his grandson. Because of what he did to me, he gave me a job. He never gave me money or any other thing. He taught me politics. He taught me discipline. He taught me honesty. He taught me to understand what is the revolution about. And that's why today I am proud to associate myself with him. And that's why I will always remember him. He never believed in crass materialism. He never believed in flaunting. These things that people do, buying flashy cars, drinking expensive alcohol and all that. If Commander wanted to have a thought or whatever, he will stay in his house. He will call me, hey, Mfana, if you are coming, let the Commander something, pen. Uzenzi isakhamuzi ungazenzi isakhamuzi ungathi awuqeqeshwanga wena mfana kwaMayile wena, you know. So that's the commander I know, not the commander who complained about people not doing this and that for him and all that. And I would want us to remember him. He believed in quality education. He wanted us to build education. Comrade Panyaza is the MEC of education. He has continued with a lot of work that they have started since Comrade Merrimet Kalf, Comrade Ignatius Jacobs, Comrade Enji Mutseha. He came, and most of those programs, SIP, someone was talking about SIP, it's still there. It's still there. Because it's a program that makes sense. It's a program that gives us results, that helps us to compete with the rest of other provinces, despite the fact that we've got the highest number of matriculants in the country, followed by KZN or the other way around. But if you hear that Free State is #1, it's a good thing. But look at the numbers. It might be like 20,000 matriculants. We are talking like, 300,000, 500,000. So in percentage terms, it's like, hey, they have done well. But look at the work we're doing here. And part of the work we are doing is the work that Comrade Thamsanqa Mali and many others, Comrade Ignatius Jacobs, have invested in. I don't want to, because I'm not and I did say you are risking, because I'm not the main speaker, so I'm trying now to make sense, So, in conclusion, we want to bid farewell to our commander. Because to us, he was a commander, literally. We never went to camp, but we had an experience of what it means to be commanded, of what it means to behave like a soldier. The only thing we have the experience, Comrade Take Care. But Comrade Thamsanqa Mali never treated us like boys. Comrade Thamsanqa Mali called me his leader. He called me his leader. And this is a man who gave me my first job. He never, not even a single day, called me my boy, Lomfana, what. He either calls me Comrade Maile, or leader, or how Kantinianzani, and he will always be interested to know what is it that I think on any matter. And it's not like we agreed. There are a number of matters where we never agreed. I know one of the issues we never agreed with him was an issue of President Zuma. And we kept on having a discussion. There was never bad blood, and he never felt betrayed that Nkulisile Lomfana, Maragang Mameli. No, he did never have a sense of self-importance or entitlement. And that's why he was a genuine revolutionary. So as we bid farewell to him today, we want to say, Commander, rest well. And of course, we must thank his family, Abachana Baake, his son, and everybody else in the family for having given him an opportunity to participate in our movement, but to also continue to serve post-democracy, because he had to serve in different departments in many capacities. There's times this program I'm talking about of social plan, we will be away for 2 weeks sometimes, 3 weeks, and we are there doing this important work. So we are saying, Commander, now Commander, with the greatest of humility, I'm asking you to pass on this message to Comrade Oliver Tambo, our president, to Comrade Nelson Mandela, our president, to Comrade Sefako Makgato, and many others, the president, the secretary generals, and the leaders of the ANC, that the ANC is not in good shape, that we are tearing ourselves apart, that we no longer love each other. We treat each other like enemies. Some of us are working with the enemy to destroy the ANC. Please tell Comrade O.R. Tambo that he was indeed correct when he warned us about the wedge driver. The wedge driver has arrived. The wedge driver is here. And I doubt if we will survive this, because the enemy is hitting hard. It has become a battle between the good and the bad guys in the ANC. It seems the bad guys are having an advantage, unfortunately. The good guys will continue to fight, Commander, and this is the message you must give to our leadership. You must say to our leadership, they must give the good guys strength. They must help us as a movement to get better. Because this movement, as President Thabo Mbeki has said, is too big to fail. This movement belongs to the people of South Africa. Those of us who have joined it, we have inherited an organization that is intact. We must leave an organization that is intact. We are saddened by your passing, Commander, because it's people like you who gave us strength. It's people like you who would have continued to help the good guys fight this battle. So I'm not saying, Comrade De Guerra, who are the good guys and the bad guys. I don't know if I'm one of the bad or the bad guys or the good guys. But what I know is that this is a struggle between the good and the bad guys for the soul of the ANC. And unfortunately, all of us claim to be loving this movement. All of us claim to be fighting to save the soul of this movement. All of us demonize factionalism. All of us say the right things. But because the wedge drivers here, we don't know who's telling the truth. We've become like these other Mickey Mouse parties, which wakes up today, they support the ANC, tomorrow the DA, the following day Action SA, tomorrow they will vote with us, next time they won't vote with us, and all that. We can't be that party. Comrade Thamsanqa Mali said something very profound and fundamental. And in conclusion, Comrade Thamsanqa, ANC has not lost the Freedom Charter. The Freedom Charter and the policies of the ANC are there. The problem, and this is not what I'm saying, I'm going to quote Senior Counsel Nqaka Itobi in the conversation I had with him, because I'm writing a book about youth and leadership. And I asked him a question. What is your view about the leadership of our country? And he says something very interesting. He says ANC has got good, and by the way, you know his ideological stance. So it shouldn't be like I'm confused, no. So he says the ANC has always had good policies and still has good policies, but it has conservative leaders. That's what he says. And Comrade Sydney Mufumadi, I'm saying this because these are going to be public soon. By February, March, I'm launching the book. It's not a secret. Comrade Sydney Mufumadi says, I'm asking him, I say, I spoke to Nqaka Itobi. You can come closer, program director. I'm saying to him, this is what Nqaka Itobi says. What is your view? He says, no, Comrade De Guerra, Comrade Deputy Chair, this is very important. And I think we must think deep about it. So he says, no, the leadership of the ANC is not conservative. He says, their collective understanding and thinking is at a certain level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Mali. Comrades, for the sake of time, I'm not going to say much. We have been requested, Sispusi, the family, we should not go through an obituary. I keep out with the report, so Comrade Deputy Baby Omanya Barno would get another into. So, consider what do me. We are going to go straight to the sermon by our chaplain, then we go straight to the formal part of the program, the official part of the program. It's been formal, official. So, Comrade, without any waste of time, thank you, Comrade Mali. You spoke so well. You are the product of COSAS. There was no way that you cannot speak well. Thank you, Comrade Chaplain.
Commissar, bathi umoya wami uyavuma. Well, I have to ask the provincial leadership to grant me permission to officiate this ceremony. It's granted. Let me greet you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Because of time, I'm not going to take a long sermon. I'll be handing over officially after this to my chaplain to run the last part program of the day. At least I had a chance now to expose those who kept on saying Mali was not, Thamsanqa Mali was not a Christian. He was one of my congregants. I'm saying this, Baba Mkize. There's a witness there behind you there to prove that Mali at a certain stage used to invite the presence of the Almighty God. I remember I think it's 1995, maybe Baba Mkize Boko Nanitoitoya at District Johannesburg South. Well, it happened that I'm running a security company. My company was on the 7th floor in the same building with Cde Mali. They were on the 3rd floor. Now, there was this big Toyota of Satu, Johannesburg South, was coming to his office. Then, all of a sudden, a white lady came into my office. Said, I'm looking for Ntate Maruti. And Ntate Maruti, she wanted to say Muruti, but she said, I'm looking for Ntate Maruti. Then I said, okay, Mr. Mali want to see you very urgently on that floor. So I went and met Ntate Panyas. I met Ntate Mali. Said, hey, Mfundisi, I don't know how should I respond. From your security point of view, can you advise me? Is it safe that I must go and address these people? I said, no. Wait a minute, let me go outside, analyze the situation. Then after that, I came to him, I said, no, those people are not aggressive. They might be insulting and so on, but no, there's no risk. You can go and address them. After that, they've left. Then he said to me, hey, Muruti, lo Jesu wako uyaphila man. You know, you have managed to give me strength to go and talk. And he further said, please, I'm praying. I hope you are not going to die before me, because you must come and bury me. So, but at night, begum sumaili. So, uzanshia ebendini. I'm not a priest, a renter priest, please. I've come here, I'm come here to render my services with due respect. He used to say, Ayabizwa amaka mamakawe ngabilako osole kolaleko maebi amaka mamakawe ngabila osole kolaleko nagobanjane osesihle zinothambo sesempela amapuna kingin. I know my Redeemer, you are alive, even if my body is in tatters. Yes, my Lord, I'll see with my own naked eyes. Whether you like it or not, we are all going to die. But at the end of the day, bazati ningawe. Others will be saying -1 problem. But with Comrade Commander Commissar, we say we have lost. And we are saying you have rendered your services with due respect. You have run your race. You have kept your faith as a member of African National Congress until death do us part. Baba Kai bo mabina utsulwa. Today, otsamali party e. Hosane otsamali party e. Leko kerekeng ho jwalo. Kajeno o re moruti o le 100 o ya ko kerekeng enngwe. Wa tswa o ya ko kerekeng forgetting gore the blessings tsa hao di atla. Your angel o tla ba o batla ko Roma. O sa le yo ko Roma so le ko Sione. But this man, he said, as a member of the African National Congress, I will remain loyal and committed until I die. And these are his blessings. My chaplain, o re monna e mong to the family, di thusang di pelaelo, lo ana masisa pelo, mokamedi a rena ngo tseba se re se hlokang. I've heard so many people talking about you, Kolisile. You know, many people, they like to say that Maile, no, it's not your size. They might be big, they might be small. But what you can say, if I can be like my father. That's all, my young man. And you are not alone. In God we trust. When we pray, we say, for thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory. Lentswe le reng ya re rata ngwa ratega ya re tshepisitse ngwa tshepahala. So what else do we want? The scripture dedicated to a man I know. He was looking at what is happening to our glorious organization. But we will rise. We'll correct our mistakes. Revelation chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. Revelation chapter 4. Then this is what Mali told me on that day, Cde 9. He said, after these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me, saying, come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this. After all this nyaga, floor crossing and all these things, a young man was looking up on. Then the Almighty called his name. He said, Izanganene Nyanawam, and I will show you what will happen after this. It is with due respect when we say, Ki atsiba hoba mulupulu waka wapila. Lubani ketelong utla emalifatsi. Le haletlalo la ka le se le senyehile. Who am I? Hobane ki titimile ki ketile sebaka. Ki bulukile tumelo yaka. And now it's time to go and rest. Kolisile, Sisi, Ndeni, cousins, nieces, Utami uti namhlanje. May you release me so that I can go and meet my master. I have rendered my services with due respect. I'm always saying when I'm preaching to enter the kingdom of heaven, my chaplain, it's not by going to church Monday to Monday. And I'm always saying, you don't know what am I doing at night. But there are only two things that are Kenya Hodimo. Full stop. This is what Tammy did to to the people of South Africa. He has rendered his services. Amoya wa hae o phomole ka kgotso. Let me invite the first part now. The pallbearers, MK members, to remove the flag. The flag will be handed over to Honorable MEC Maile. Tate Maile will hand the flag to Kolusile. Akere Thami, on the last day, unabina sefela sering kana ka nyorelwa botle. Ka tswatswa ke batla. Ka tsielwa ke ntho tsohle. Anti Jesu unampona. E kajeno ke fodile li fule li nketile di to ha o ka nkoka fela morene haka, it is done. Ntukulle ke tsamaya. Pallbearers, time is not on our side. Thank you. Ungacabanga ukuthi nawe sakwenzela into enje. You have to render your services before you get such a farewell. Futhi wena sakwambisa kuseni ngo8 o'clock sithi ayihamba. Lo muntu behlupha la emhlabeni. So, thank you very much. I'm now officially closing the chapter of the African National Congress, and I'm handing over to my chaplain to run with the official funeral. When I go to the official funeral, Wednesday extend 13 hours. Aye. Thank you. Where's my chaplain? It's cut so chaplain to hand over. Umangi suga guona lomhla ba umdala ngizohamba ngikujabula ngobujesu All right. Once you know that you are going to come to my funeral, and when the people are singing, you sit down. Don't come to my funeral, because mina ngizawuphuma kule coffin yami ngiziculele. Mangiqeda ukuziculele ngibuyele ku coffin yami. Uma ngisuka ko namhlaba ngizohamba ngikujabula ngobujesu uzongingenisa endaweni ophumula uma ngithiwa kuwonalo kabangi ngizohamba kwinokujabula ngobujesu uzongingenisa endaweni Chaplain.
Greetings in the wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Dumelang bommele bontate. Are you well? No, you should be well. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon or in the morning? You must be well. You see why I'm saying you must be well. We are entering in what we call an official funeral, part. And one of the reasons is that not everybody will have the opportunity to be buried in this fashion. That is why it's applied. That is why you see me in uniform. That is why there is this part called official funeral. And there must be a reason why it is like that. Am I correct? So if you are not working when God has given you the opportunity, then we've got a very serious problem. You all see us wearing this uniform and wasting our time, because when God has given you the opportunity to work, you did not work. I heard when somebody here was speaking about what we call theologically the hermeneutics of suspicion, in terms of saying the late Onarwa Pinea Lona Yare, Jesu Alutosa Mona, Alibea Mona, Alieta what. He was very correct. You see, he was relevant. You see, some of the songs here, they are very problematic. Otswana Pinea Avulekila Masango, Velekile for who? Dumela fela tsohle di lokile. That's what we are singing. When you did not do anything. The reason that we are here is because of these verses that I was having. I think the family have made it correct to say, let's not read these verses. It speaks to itself. We are proud to be standing here, even in front of God, to begin to say, thank you, God, that we have given somebody that have made a difference. And he came the leave of change in this country. And that is why we are saying now we are able to say we need to be honoring this person countrywide. Am I correct? Do you understand me correctly? That is the reason I'm wearing this uniform. Otherwise, I should not be here, because the person did not do anything. You see, some of the people, you struggle. You see, even if you have to make the program, because you don't know who's going to speak, because they don't know what they're going to say. You see, when God has given you the opportunity as you live, make a difference. When you occupy that office of leadership, make a difference what God has given you the opportunity to do that. You must not play with the people's God. We are all created, and God will begin to say, I have put watchmen, I've put ambassadors on the universe that must represent my image and make a difference to the people. This is the kind of a person. So the family, you should be happy that all of us, even if you don't know me, I'm here. I'm here because this person have worked. We have listened that he have worked, and there's no lie about it. I might not have known him, but I've known him in terms of the kind of work that he was doing. And that is a challenge to all of us. Immediately when you hold to that office of leadership, be careful that we are not going to be singing the song of, who's that lady that sing this song of saying, Noma ungahamba ngeke dilile. Even if you can go, I'm not going to cry. Because why? You have done nothing. So why must we cry? We must sing the song to say, this person has gone. And we are saying, we miss you, Manuelo. Where are you? That is what we must be singing. I'm calling now, because it has already been declared official. I do not have to repeat that. I'm calling those officers who are going to come and dress the coffin, and then we'll take it from there. Jwalo ka phutheho ke a tseba le kereke nako nngwe le nna ka go le chase ne moruti le ka no binanyana sfelanyana ke utlwana le la etsamaya kereke na once they are still coming. I agree later or at least in an literally Kiriki Lana like Kenyan outside no. Let me take this opportunity once again to say we as the people of South Africa, we have witnessed the difference and the change that the fallen hero has done. That is why you see the flag of this country being pressed. And for that, I want to take this opportunity to call Ntatele Sophie, ho tlo emela Afrika Borwa, ho emela mmuso, ho emela batho ba Afrika Borwa, ho emela lefatshe, hore le bone hobane re bile le batho ba we as a country we pride ourselves with. Ntate sebaka ke sa hao.
So much, Chaplain Munyani, Muruti Wabaruti, Muruti Mapatsu, the Mali family, the son Kulisi, the grandchild Tami, Sis Busi, Putundumiso and Ernest, the entire leadership of the ANC represented here by a member of the Provincial Working Committee, Comrade Thamsanqa Mali, and members of the PC that are here, the leadership of the Alliance, former members and leaders of the People's Army, Mkonto Wesizwe, Ambassador Opa Tekere Munareng. I've seen other comrades that are here that are representing us in various forums across the globe. The leadership of the church, leadership of government, represented here by Comrade DG Vusimkize Kabazela, fellow mourners. A heart whose dreams gave hope to the weak and the vulnerable has forever lost its beat. Gone from our sight, but never from our hearts. We gather here today on behalf of our Premier and the people of Gauteng, to pay our last respect to our beloved father, a stalwart of our struggle against apartheid, a human rights activist, an organizer, a militant and fearless leader, an unending source of inspiration, and a role model to many, Comrade Thamsanqa Mali. Here lies before us the body of a man whose thoughts have opened the doors of our liberty. The rough voice whose measured words of reason shook thrones of tyrants and dictators. His voice has been silenced. As the cold truth of this reality dawns on us, with each passing day, our loss becomes more difficult to bear. There are a handful of few individuals who leave an indelible mark in the history of humanity. And Comrade Thamsanqa Mali, Busobenyoka, was such a towering figure. His name occupies a special place among South Africans for his unbroken struggle against the apartheid system and the birth of a new South Africa we all enjoy today. That's why the president of our country, Ntate Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, didn't hesitate to declare this funeral a special provincial funeral. In Comrade Thamsanqa, we are a soldier of the People's Army, a leader of a glorious movement, a storyteller of note, an educationalist, an internationalist who fought for the complete liberation of other countries in our continent. He led where others were scared to lead. He defended when others preferred to surrender. Comrade Thamsanqa was known across MK ranks for his stubbornness, steadfastness, and conviction in standing for what he strongly believed in. He was a man of principle, a man of action, a man of courage, and a man of conviction. He was a fierce speaker who could debate political, ideological, as well as military science issues for hours. He endeared himself with most cadres of Umkhonto weSizwe from all generations. We also stand here to declare that what we used to cherish has left us. What we used to celebrate, it's no more. Our hearts may beat, but the sound has changed. Our minds may function, but our thoughts are troubled. A leader amongst us has left this world. His heart has ceased to beat, thus leaving our hearts in pain. The pain is deep and unmeasurable. Comrade Thamsanqa was an organizer, an activist when activists were few, a teacher when it was difficult to be a teacher, a soldier when death was the ultimate destiny, a pathfinder, a strict disciplinarian, but above all, he was a freedom fighter. But comrades, will be disingenuous not to state the fact that the freedom you fought for is slowly slipping away from us, and we may lose its character if we can't act. That the struggle you waged is turning into something we are scared to say publicly, but sometimes we whisper a possibility of a loss of power by our beloved movement. That the sacrifices you made, if nothing drastic is done, those sacrifices may be fruitless. Never in the history of our struggle that our people doubted us and stood away from voting for us. Never in the history of our struggle that our people, in their numbers, are unhappy with the behavior and conduct of some of us. Never in the history of our movement that our people are angered by our inward and self-centered approach to real issues that are affecting our people. The mistrust between leadership and our people is growing daily. You saw it, Comrade Thami. Instead of fighting for development of our people, we spent time fighting for positions when we have lost elections. You saw it, Comrade Thami. Instead of fighting for development of our country, we are surrendered by greedy vultures who don't even know when to stop. You saw it, Comrade Thami. Instead of fighting for peace and prosperity, our women and children are attacked daily. This occasion must be a signpost for the renewal of our commitment to keep alive the memory of Comrade Thamsanqa Mali. It must serve as a reminder to our youth that our struggle for freedom was led by people with real depth and character, personality, and sense of humanity, and people that loved our people. Our struggle was led by people who were ideologically clear and knew it's not the gun that wins a battle, but the brains behind that gun. As we lay him to rest, we must restore our faith in our people to build a truly non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa. A South Africa we want for our children to inherit. A South Africa that will make all of us proud. A South Africa that cares. A free South Africa that is not at war with its own children and women. When a person chooses to be humble, when a person chooses to sacrifice and suffer, when that person is not praised, we'll be jealous of the action of that person. That's why all of us are here to say, Comrade Thami, you deserve all our testimonies. Go well. And strongly reassure our martyrs that we'll resist with whatever we have, that this movement we build in exile, in prison, underground, and under conditions of life and death, be gradually turned over its head to be something rather than what we wanted. But we must also inform our martyrs that some of those who asked us to forgive are still taking our forgiveness for granted and are still refusing to give us back our beautiful land. Fare thee well, our dearest leader. Fare thee well, the doer, mandate protector. Fare thee well, the chief director of our department. Fare thee well, the pathfinder, our leader, our aspirations. It's tough and difficult, but we can now release you. It's hard, but we are ready to release you, Busobenyoka. We are releasing you because you played your part. You conquered, and collectively with other leaders, you liberated us. But I can also say that Comrade Thamsanqa Mali has not died, because the ideals for which he sacrificed his life can never die. The ideals of freedom, human dignity, non-racialism, and economic emancipation cannot perish. I say he has not died because there are many of us who became part of his soul and therefore willingly entered into a conspiracy with him for the victory of his cause. Be assured of our commitment to serve and defend our freedom. Please tell them, President Mandela, Tambo, Sobukwe, Biko, Heri Kwala, Albertina Sisulu, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Helen Joseph, Bani Molokwani, Solomon Mahlangu, that you are indeed free, but not yet fully free. But please be assured that never will we betray you by surrendering this freedom to our enemies. To the Mali family and relatives, isithembiso sifekezile so faslahlana o la moya ha roba le ka khotso. I'm told when a bird is shot on its leg and it starts to limp, all other birds will come and surround the limping bird so that the enemy must not know which bird is limping. Today, we are all limping, and today, we are all the Malis. Salute, Commander. Go well, Tabarish. Till we meet again. Robalaka Khotso. I thank you for your attention.
Chaplain, the acting premier. I think since the criteria said Tlazama, Impahe, Kartoko Paso, comrades, Repata comrade Tami, Kartokopa maximum discipline. About to go live. The Copa Scala is on two. Okay. I want to go to a graveyard. As for now, is fast, that to go away nothing. Comrades, please. I want to tell them to tune. Our party missionary. We are bearing the discipline care of controversies. Seven, Chaplain.
Okay, Raleboa. You see, when leadership have spoken, you don't have to say anything. I'm saving this under this government that I'm proud of, regardless of whoever says what. Huh? I'm politically correct. Huh? You must be politically correct, otherwise you'll miss the target. I can't be relevant in this organization that I'm proud of, and that is why we are here. That is why I'm saying whoever says what, we've got a track record. This is one of the reasons of track record. Challenge me if you like in this uniform. Right. Who tlwaetse mmuso o buile jwale re tlo etsa tjena he ka kopo hle ke tlo bitsa di Paul Beera ntate moruti wa ka re tlo tsamaya ka pele na le wena ke wa tseba ngwana meretsa jwang re lo beya lesole la rona ba tla mo nka we are very proud hore be re beya lesole le re sebeleditseng ka botshepehi me kopo ya ka ke ena he bana beso setšhaba sa setso sa rantsho to ga se believe re feng chance re tswe le ka dikoloi re kgona ho fitla hantle mabitleng re etse mosebetsi. You'll see at the gravesite ho tla bana le trumpeter e tla letsa abide with me the last post and revel in respect of this fallen hero and to say that Modimo a moele moya wa hae ka khotso. It must be a challenge to us, those who are not working. It's a challenge, really. It's a challenge. Paul Beras, come.